Hey, what's up? It's currently Sunday, January 21st. I'm having a hard time doing work right now, but I don't want to be unproductive. So I figured I'd just chat to the mic. We have some topics to cover, some things that have been on my mind recently, and some things I really my door is creaking, sorry. Have really wanting to, I can't speak. I've really wanted to talk about recently. We're just going to cover one tonight. I'm not going to, maybe I'll do the other one later, but the first one I just kind of want to do an update on the situation with YouTube and how the space looks and how it's evolved since the last time I spoke about it, which I don't remember what I said exactly, but a lot's changed. A lot has changed. First and foremost, the space is not dying, but there are less and less creators, and it's less creator focused and more per video focused. So you're seeing more people pop up that have one or two big videos that come out, but either struggle to keep the attention on their page or just build the brand that you've seen in the last couple years with some creators just blowing up in like the 2010s, like a David Dobrik. Like that's just not happening anymore, which is okay. It's not that it can't happen, and I think maybe for some people that can kind of scare them away because the longevity is not there necessarily. Like people are less interested in sticking with a creator and more interested in browsing the recommended and seeing what what is interesting in the moment. And I think that could scare a lot of people away, obviously, because like I said, the longevity is not there. But it shouldn't because it's still not impossible to build a brand and build notoriety. Look, at the end of the day, it's more saturated than it's ever been before, and we'll get into that more later, but it's so saturated now. The amount of creators and independent artists flushing the platform is insane, and the amount of talent on the platform is larger than it's ever been before. So it is harder than ever to get picked out of the crowd, and harder to draw people to your work instead of everyone else's. But it is still possible to build a brand and build a name. It's just a matter of consistency. It's a matter of quality over everything else. I think consistency is important, because if you're not being consistent, obviously people forget about you, and all like the typical marketing stuff about brand, refreshing brands in people's mind. It's the same thing applies, but more than that, and this maybe gets overlooked more than a lot of marketing companies and agencies overlook this aspect, but consistency is important because it actually pushes better work. You can sit with a project as long as you want and try to make it as good as possible, but it's actually more effective to create consistently, even if you feel like you want to take extended periods of times. Sometimes you have to accept the fact that things just need to get out of your folder and into the world, and that ultimately makes for better projects because it allows you to release the barrier in your mind and the block that you may have on a certain project, and move on to the next, and move on to the next, and move on to the next. It's constant iteration. But at the same time, I don't want people that you shouldn't take that as, oh, I need to be posting every week and stuff like that. I think more now than ever, it's more possible to be a creator that posts monthly than it ever has been before. Maybe that's not the healthiest way to build a business. If you're looking at this as a business, which you shouldn't be, because YouTube should not be treated as a business, in my personal opinion. It can be, and it works that way. But if this is something you're passionate about, and if this is something you want to do in the long run, this is not a business. You will fluctuate up and down with your business, or your YouTube channel, business, whatever you want to call it. Your channels will eventually dip, you'll lose relevancy, and then you'll be confused as to why it happened when you've been so consistent, working so hard. And it's like, the reality is you're not evolving. When you're that consistent with videos, and when you're pushing, every week, maybe twice a week, 3 times a week, you're not taking the time to reflect and improve your work, and you're just worse off for it. YouTube and just the people that are on the platform are so incredibly talented and evolving so fast. A single person makes videos that used to take 3, 4, 5 people to make, and it's only getting more and more independent, and the competition's only getting stronger and stronger. So if you want to keep up with that, you're gonna have to take the time and accept the fact that, okay, this isn't something that's gonna make me stable income. YouTube is not a place to make income until you hit the top echelon of a YouTube channel, which is usually when you hit the millions and then that takes years to happen. And I think okay, hold on, this door is driving me insane. The thing that drives me a bit insane, although I'm happy there's a lot of talent emerging on the platform, and I'm happy that YouTube's kind of swayed in this way where it's video based and not creator based. It drives me a bit insane because I think there's a lot of people still approaching the platform as a means to an end, a means to an easier life, and a means to the 1% lifestyle without the effort. And that's just not the case. It's not the case at all. And it's easy to get distracted by that kind of, appeal of the platform, especially when you see people like Kai Cenat or like those, I want to call them pop culture hype influencers, where they're the ones that are building the new brands and the new names for themselves and are very involved in the mainstream and, integrate themselves in pop culture and really solidify themselves as, one, having a great career. I mean, they're making a lot of money, but 2, just having a great foundation and a great loyal fan base and so on and so forth. But you have to understand, first of all, the Kai Cenat specifically works his fucking ass off. And it's so easy to look at what he does and think like, oh, it's so degenerate and like this guy's just being a clown on a stream in his YouTube videos. But no, that's not the reality of it at all. He comes up every time he streams, it's a huge event. He always has a new idea for a stream, and I employ anyone that thinks that's easy to try to do that for years on end, for as long as he's done. He's done it, I don't know how long he's been going for, but it's always something new. He's always at the top of the game because he's constantly creating, innovating, and just thinking of the next thing. And he's doing it at such a rapid pace. It's insane. And all props to him. But someone like that, it's easy to look at that and just think, oh, well, or like I show speed and think like, oh, well, I just need to be like a degenerate and live like this dream young lifestyle. I don't know how to explain it, but it's this appeal that these guys have of a lifestyle that a lot of kids like in their teens and then people that in their 20s want to live, where it's just like pure fun, pure energy, pure like going out partying, meeting people, stuff like that. That appeal, I think, is what draws a lot of people to them, and the environment they bring and the energy they have. And a lot of people try to replicate that in their own work, and they think that can convey or translate to a following, which it can. But I think a lot of them are swayed by the fact that, they see like the Kai Cenat, I Show Speed living those lifestyles, like doing these insane things, to be honest. Like, they're bigger than most celebrities, and they just want that part of it. But they don't understand that those guys truly love doing that, and they're so passionate about it day in, day out. They have something new to bring to the table. And if you can't do that, if you're not, disciplined enough, there is a level of discipline you need to do that, even if they're not the most disciplined people in their day-to-day. I don't know what they do in their day-to-day, but I'm just saying, like, you need to have some sort of discipline or passion or love that is burning hotter than most people's love for this, that you can do it for that long and that consistently. So I think a lot of people get swayed by that, just seeing the one side of it, all the success that comes with it, and thinking, oh, well, if I just do that, I'll be great. And that really pisses me off, because then you have a lot of junk on this platform. A lot of kids and young adults doing really stupid shit and honestly not getting far with it, which is the sad part, is they do all this stuff to try and get all this attention, and they just kind of make a fool of themselves because it's not worth it in the end. And everyone and their mother always says, I'm going to make it. But you have to know if you can make it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but if you don't have a clear image of your reality, who you are and the problems you have and the things you're good at, if that's not a clear image in your head, and you're just blinded by, oh, I just have to do this constantly and it'll work out, I know I'll make it because that's what my idol said. No, the reality is, the person you look up to, your idol. I've been talking for 11 minutes? There's no way. Hold on. Wow, I have been talking for 11 minutes already. Anyways. The reality is what was I mentioning? I was saying something about, So everyone always says they're going to make it. If you talk to any content creator, quote unquote, whatever you want to call these people, or even anyone that makes videos, they all say, oh, I'm going to make it. I know I'm going to make it. They all have this confidence, but it's a very fake confidence. And the problem is, it's because they don't have a clear image or reflection. I call life a reflection. It's a mirror, because some people, if your mirror is clear, if you see all your flaws, if you see all the things you need to improve, then you're going to learn, and you're going to learn faster than anyone else in this world. But some people have fogged mirrors, and they can't, no matter how much they streak it, try to clean it, it just doesn't clear up. That's because of all the smoke that's in their head. And the clearer your mirror, the more likely you are to actually succeed. And if you have a clean mirror, perfectly crystal clear, then you know you will make it. That's how you know. And a lot of these people just don't have that. And it's sad, but you can't knock them for trying, because it just seems so attainable, right? Oh, all I have to do is stream for a couple hours a day and play some games, talk to some people, keep my energy up, and then I'll make it. But it doesn't work like that. You need to know what your strengths are. You need to know where the gap is. Most importantly, you have to have a good understanding of why things work, how they work, and how to do them your own way. And then that can lead you to success. And all that comes from a lot of deep personal understanding and learning about who you are and what you like and what you want to do and see from yourself in the future. So, not to get too personal, but to shift back onto the YouTube aspect of it, more than that, more than, a lot of these hype creators, I'll call them, there's also been a huge influx of cinematic creators, is what I'll call them. One is cinematic creators, people posting vlogs that look like films and people showing off their film talents. There's, despite there being less cameras bought every year, because of the phones being more powerful and easily accessible and easier to understand and less barrier to entry and so on and so forth, I've never seen so much talent come out of people just owning it and picking up a camera. First of all, I want to say the first thing in regards to talented film creators on this platform, whatever you want to call them, like vloggers or cinematic vloggers or whatever you want to call them. they all are learning how to color grade and make footage look cinematic faster than ever. In the last 3 years alone, it has completely changed. 3 years ago, you saw the cinematic vlogger just start to emerge. Now, it's nearly every single vlogger does a cinematic vlog. You very rarely, there's no in between the, I want to call them relatable vlogger, which is someone just recording off their phone and being like funny and making it like just being jokes and so on and so forth, like an Emma Chamberlain when she was younger kind of thing. And there's no in between that and the cinematic vlogger, which is someone who's like a film student, is passionate about making videos, or just someone that picked up a camera that is somehow really good with it after a year. But there's no in between anymore. It's either the relatable or the cinematic. And in correlation to cinematic specifically, you're seeing a lot more introspective work. There are so many videos I cannot explain to you. My recommended, I have the 2 channels that I use to watch videos. I keep the one I make my videos that I'm like the more effort videos, I guess you could call them. I use that to keep tabs on basically new creators and smaller channels and people doing similar stuff. And oh my God, there are so many people doing the introspective self-improvement cinematic style video where it's like where it'll be like, you didn't waste your life, or it's okay to do what you want in your 20s, so on and so forth. Those kind of videos, they're everywhere. Literally everywhere. And that does make me a little scared. I'm going to be honest. That does scare me a bit because this is the part that scares me. I wanted to make videos like that. We'll bounce back and forth here, but we'll get back to we'll bounce back and forth. But the first point is why it scares me, and then we'll get into why it did scare me when I first started all these videos popping up like a year ago, and why it doesn't scare me anymore. But it still can. It still can in the future. So why it did scare me is because I've had this urge to make these videos for so long, but ultimately, one, none of them are good enough. None of them are good enough for my standards that I make, because I just never felt like my skill set was out of place where I could deliver on the vision I had for these videos. But now my skill set has just reached the bare minimum for that. So now is where I'm going to and it's sad to say that because it could have been a lot sooner, but that's just me lack of effort and lack of discipline and a whole personal thing that you know, that's like, again, before just the fog mirror. Like, my mirror has always been clear. It's just there's always been a fear of changing. And I've finally gotten over that part of me, but I could have been doing this way sooner because I had this vision for my future, or for a really long time. It was when I was a teenager, I thought about doing this stuff. So I'm just starting now, and I know I'm going to do great. I know I'll be fine, but it definitely hurts to think about that. But at the same time, there's no use in thinking about that. Those are the choices I made, and now I just have to make the good decision for myself not to waste my time anymore and get on it. So, and which is why I'm doing this, because I can't focus tonight and I don't want to give up on the night. But what can I do instead of doing work? Because I know the work I'll do right now is probably going to be shit. I'll just talk to the phone and get my thoughts out. But so yeah, the amount, it scared me because I wanted to do this for so long, but now my mind is ahead. but my actions are behind. And that is the part that scares me, because now I'm seeing people, maybe their mind was ahead as well, and maybe they saw this way back, and they probably did. But honestly, no, I don't know. I don't know what they thought, but I always like to think I'm ahead of the game when it comes to the way I think and my mind. And I seriously believe that. Like, I don't think I just, like, it's hard to explain, but despite the fact I don't have a lot on my portfolio, me as a person is ahead of my competition. So I know that is the setup for the exponential success to then pass the competition and be great. But we'll get into that later, like I said. Anyways, whether they thought about it before or not, but they acted on it before me. And now I'm seeing so much of this pop up, and there's just so much saturation in it that it scares me, because now my voice is going to be muted. At least that's what it feels like. But then, and there's just so many people doing such similar things. Everyone's cinematic, introspective vlog, quote unquote, they all look and feel so similar. And that's partially because they're drawing from similar influences, the Goxes, and I don't know what other examples, but a lot of the cinematography is very, very Gox inspired. That guy's running YouTube cinematography right now. Yeah, so it almost feels like I'm going to lose my chance at having my own voice if I don't act soon enough. And yeah, that's true. That's 100% true. But here's why it doesn't scare me. One, I've put myself in a good position to know that, like I said before, my growth can be a lot faster than everyone else's, because I am building the regimen, building the sharpness and the discipline to set myself up, I guess. The reality is, and this is not to be rude or mean, and I really don't know these people at the end of the day, but you meet people in the industry and you talk to people and you see it firsthand. A lot of them are lazy. A lot of them aren't willing to do what it takes, and I am willing to do what it takes. So right away, knock out most of the percentage of competition. Now I'm competing with the top dogs. And then that's another part that gets scary, because a lot of them are really good and a lot of their skills are way past mine at the moment. But I don't get scared because, for starters, I love the process. I really, really love just creating and seeing something come to life. There's no better feeling for me. And so long as I can do that for the rest of my life, I don't care if I lose my hair. I don't care if I lose everyone in my life, but God forbid I don't. I'll be happy. I will be happy doing that for the rest of my life. I will feel like I have a purpose, and I will feel comfort knowing that, not even for anyone else, I'm not worried about my videos being seen. I'm not worried about them getting views. I know that's contradiction to what I said before, like I'm worried about losing my voice, but that's just the competitive mind of me. But the reality is I'm comfortable making these and knowing that they can be good enough, or they have the potential to be as I see them. And that creative fulfillment is the strongest drive for me. So I'm okay. Like, I don't know. That just calms me down a bit, and understanding it's important to act fast, and it's important not to excuse your lack of effort. You should never have a lack of effort, but when you're putting in your most, and you can't panic over the fact that things aren't getting done as soon as you might have wanted them to. It's okay. It is okay. Just take a deep breath, keep working, and it'll find its way out. Moreover than that, the thing that really, really calms me down, and we're going to get back into the competitive mindset again, but I truly believe no one has the potential to make videos like I do. I think my videos are going to get so unbelievably good that people will look at me the way they look at their favorite creator. And that's because I will be their favorite creator. So that kind of calms me down a bit because I just know my potential. Here's the thing about these cinematic self-improvement videos is they lack substance. And I have a strong feeling that come the next couple months, you'll start to see a little more substance in these videos. I think people are going to figure out eventually that they lack substance and they'll start putting substance in them. But what do I mean by that? Well, you click on a lot of these videos, like there's a couple, like I said before, why you're not wasting your life or why you're in the right point in your time or whatever you call them. And most of them are very pleasing to look at. Beautiful videos. They start with a couple nice shots. They're very beautiful. And then what does it go into? Right to people talking. It just goes right to them talking in front of the camera, in front of a nice background or making it look cinematic. Oh, look, they're driving. Oh, look, they're... And the reality is a lot of my videos have the same cliche. A lot of mine follow the same format. But what's the difference in mine is I have substance. There is a script in my video. I script a lot, actually. And the script is to drive a message. And the message isn't meant to be explained, isn't meant to be told. I really want to stay away from the idea that you have to say instead of show. I really just want to show the most, and there's a couple of videos I still have in my vault that I'm going to say a lot more than I show in the video, and I'm okay with that because that's a great entry level video to do at this in this style, is to do kind of like the sit down talk about it, but it's not going to be a sit down talk about it. It's not going to be me sitting in front of the camera. It's not going to be me talking in front of the camera. It'll be me voicing over the video. But this is, I don't know if I should say this because you really shouldn't give all your tricks out to the world, but I don't want to gatekeep. I think that's a big value of mine is to not gatekeep. You know, you're just holding back the art. And if you're really, truly passionate about the art, you won't do that. So I don't want to do that. So I will say it. This kind of leads into my plan for my life, basically. I make documentaries because documentaries are show, don't tell. There's a lot of interview pieces, yes. There's a lot of talking pieces, yes. But the film nature of a documentary is so showing and so visually story driven that skill set that I build making documentaries, which I'm equally passionate about, you know, telling other people's stories, bleeds into my videos. And then my videos slowly become more filmic. And then the filmic style transcends the YouTube filmic style, which is not completely filmic, but it looks cinematic because people are good at coloring and some composition. But it transcends that because there's now substance in the video. So that's my kind of red string on a board connection for why I'm making docs, like why I'm splitting my time up between docs and videos, is because I know I'm still giving most of my time to videos, but the time I do spend on docs only benefits the videos as well. And also keeps, you know, the family off my back about finding a legitimate job and whatnot, and, you know, kind of making them stay away from pulling me out of what I love to do and what I'm passionate about, because I've been caught in that a couple times, and part of that is why I'm late to the punch, is because I've felt the pressure and I kind of gave into it a bit, but now I'm so determined and I won't be deterred by people trying to reel me out. So yeah, that's basically why I'm not worried anymore. So I know my plan. Like I said, my mirror is clear. I know all my flaws and I know where I need to improve. And I have a plan that's going to effectively execute that. Now, with that being said, some shit's going to change in the future. Things are going to look completely different. maybe the next time I talk about this, but that's the goal for now. And I really like making docs. I seriously love documentary. One, because it's easy for entry level, as well as there's not a low ceiling to the quality a doc can achieve, basically. And it's also easy for an independent creator to make a documentary. Much easier than a film itself. A film requires budget, but a doc you can really do on the fly. You could really do by yourself, and you could really be completely independent with. And just the never-ending nature of documentary is just what fuels me. I can't stand script writing for film, coming up with. For videos, it's so much easier for me because it's me, making the script based on my experiences, my life. But I can't project when someone asks me to project that onto a brand new world with brand new characters that I don't know. That's when it all falls apart, and I just can't get myself to sit down and write a script. Easily the weakest part of me is any script-based work. So I'm such an underused muscle in my mind. It'll definitely have to be sharpened in the future, and that'll come slowly. But that's a skill I'm not focusing on as much at the moment, as opposed to improving my editing, my coloring, my sound design, my video creation, as well as my documentary creation. So I need to improve those skills a lot more before I can go back and improve some other skills. But yeah, that's pretty much the YouTube space. Now, I forgot to mention as well, in regards to why YouTube is so video-based and less creator-based right now. I'm not sure why exactly. If I had to guess, I would just assume it's maybe attention span, as well as interests of viewers. I think nobody uses their subscription tab anymore. You subscribe to people, but you never click on their subscription tab. The only reason you subscribe is that so you can kind of guarantee a percentage chance of their video showing up in your recommended. And but that's the only reason people subscribe. People do not look at their subscription feed anymore. But yeah, I think it's just user interest is completely different. Nobody cares about creators anymore because sometimes creators don't create videos you like, and a lot of people are less attached to someone and more attached to something. They want to watch something on their downtime, and they want that to be the maximum use of their time. And that can be whether that's through entertainment or learning something or feeling something. That's maximizing their time, and they want to pick the right video, not just the one because someone made a video they liked before. And with that being said, the connection to, I think YouTube is in an interesting spot because if you want to be a creator right now, YouTube is pushing out smaller creators more than it ever has before. Maybe second to when it first had its birth, and it was pushing anyone that made a video. But the amount of videos I see in hundreds with 100 views or 1,000 views is ridiculous. It's the most I've ever seen, and sometimes it's all I get recommended. It's either 100 views or 1 million views. And then the 100,000 views and so on and so forth comes in when it's a creator you consistently watch that has a consistent fan base. That's when you start to see the 100,000s. But there are very few 100,000 videos, I think, being recommended. It's either what most people watched, in the millions, or it's what nobody's watching, but YouTube is recommending to you for whatever reason. I don't know if they changed their algorithm, but so for that reason, I think if and then the second reason, it's the best time to jump into it is because there are more of the top dogs quitting than ever before. There have been a lot of people that have dropped YouTube because it's not a sustainable income, first and foremost, because they're burnt out. And it's a lot of work, and it's hard to sustain that work. And it's not... I don't know how to explain it, but it's not... it's hard to build a legacy on YouTube, if that makes any sense. When you think of a legendary creator, that creator has to be among the 1% of one quality and charisma and interest, and there's just so many factors that go into being the top of the top. And it's hard to get there, and a lot of people give in to the lifestyle you need to live to get there. You need to sacrifice a lot. You need to give up on a lot of your social life and personal relationships, and sometimes you need help. Sometimes you need a team, and if you're someone that's doing it alone, it's hard, man. It's hard to do that consistently. So it's just not a healthy lifestyle for a lot of people. So they move away from the platform, and that's what we've seen. We've seen a lot of big creators leave the platform, and I think because that there isn't a hole necessarily, but there's just people having less interest in, and as well, views are down across the board. Everyone's views are down. The hype creators, quote unquote, their views are down. The big channels, big reasons for some of these guys quitting is actually because their views are down. Like, people are losing interest, and they can feel that on the platform. People just care less and less about what one individual has to say or show on the platform, and they care more about video per video. And I don't blame them for that. I do the same things, the same way I watch YouTube. But I don't, and for that reason, although YouTube is showing more smaller creators than ever before, I don't want people to think it's easier, because getting more spotlight faster doesn't mean it's going to be easier, because the reality is the standard of a YouTube video has risen so much that what it used to be 3 years ago is far below what it is now. And making something that has the quality of a video 3 years ago doesn't cut it anymore. So it's not easier. It'll only get harder. Videos will probably only take you longer to make. And you just have to accept that unless you're willing to make that sacrifice for your stability and the sustainability of the future. If you're willing to make that sacrifice and future invest in your work and the quality of your videos, and taking that time where you're going to be struggling, you're going to have very little income, you're going to have very little, reason to believe this can work. But if you're willing to put up with that, YouTube can be a huge future investment and can set you up greatly for success in the future. But you just have to understand that the biggest thing, when I worked for my boss, who was a photographer, and then eventually became like a social media coach, whatever you want to call those scammy ass fucking 3 things to improve your account bullshit videos. His focus, no matter how many times I tried to tell him that we need to improve the quality, his focus was always on consistency. Every day. Upload every single day. Don't miss a day. And I would push back on that. I would skip days, and I would take time to make videos, and I 100% believe to this day that we were better for it. And the one thing I learned, and he would always put up a fight, like, he was very good about it, but he would always say, like, we need to post every day. Like, please try to get me a video every day. And it's just not the philosophy I believe in, because I truly believe that a video that has time put into it will beat someone that's posting every single day. And like I said before, there's a balance of that, because there's diminishing returns on time spent and the value you get, so on and so forth. You will know when it's time to put up a video. You will know when a video you need to let go of a video. But you should never, especially in the ecosystem now, and this is why my boss is not finding any, or my former boss is not finding any success, one, on Instagram anymore, where he found his success originally, but two, on YouTube moreover, which is the place he wanted to kind of burst into the scene. The reason he's finding no success is because his focus is not on quality. His focus is on thinking what people want to see, translating that into videos, and doing that consistently. But that's not what's going to take you far. That is not what's going to take you far. What'll take you far in this world is understanding what you want your voice to be, what you want your videos to look like, and the passion you bring to the channel, to the platform. Because then when that translates into a video, the appreciation is there. It's like a painting. If a Renaissance artist painted a painting they thought people wanted to see, instead of a scene that they saw that was beautiful, or a passionate recreation of a historical moment, you think anybody would care about that painting? I don't think so. It'll just be garbage, nonsense, like noise on the platform. I call it the noise on the platform. It's just a bunch of junk being uploaded from creators that have egos and think they know what they're doing, but really don't. Like, have no idea what the fuck they're doing. And the problem is they do it for so long, so consistently, that they get some notoriety, and they do have some control over certain fan bases, or like small, niche, very niche followings that they have control over. And then they just think they run shit, and it's just sickening, honestly. It's fucking sickening. So many of them live on Instagram. There's so many travel photographers, street photographers, and that whole creative space on Instagram is saturated with such junk, such bullshit. If you ever see those videos, I'll actually do something special for this rant specifically, and I'll put up a video that I saw, that I screen recorded, because I couldn't believe, like, it's exactly what I'm talking about now. People putting up, check this quick hack out, and it's like a DaVinci Resolve. This guy's talking about DaVinci Resolve, and he's showing people how to convert their log footage into Rec 709, but it's the completely wrong way to do it, and doing it that way sets up bad habits and sets you up for failure in the future, and more confusion and more frustration. And that kind of stuff, that junk, that noise that I'm talking about, is all over these platforms. More Instagram than any other I've seen, but they need to go. These people need to leave this platform, and they need to be kicked out. And the problem is they're like parasites, because they work so hard to do everything but create passionate, creative work. They do everything in the business world but be passionate about their creative, which is what they claim to be doing. They claim to be a passionate photographer, a passionate travel videographer. And I feel bad for the people that really are, because these people just take their spot. There's so many of them, and they're all so fucking shit. And they're lazy too. They're lazy. They don't, and I don't mean lazy in the sense that they don't work and they don't put in work. I mean lazy in the sense that they will do everything but what they need to focus on, which is improving their work. These people find every excuse to work around the problem and build their success around the issue that they have. And it's just mind-boggling to me that these people even make it as far as they do, because they're such scammers, low lives. Like, they just make me sick. They honestly make me sick. And I almost wanted to after wrapping up working with my former boss, I almost wanted to remove myself from posting anything and just make videos for myself, because I was just so turned off by what I saw, and getting to know more about the industry, the inside of it, and how it works, and the people in it. Now, keep in mind, a lot of these people we were in competition with were on Instagram and those kind of creators, like the really nasty parasitic creators. I was so disgusted. Like, I didn't want to be a part of that world. But then I realized I have the skill, I have the talent and the potential to kick all those people out of this industry, to shut them out, and to show them the right way to do it. I have a rant already on the page about how misguided influencers are, and these are the people I was talking about. These just maybe if I feel like taking the time, I'll throw up some accounts that I know are extremely parasitic and disgusting and fucking. I'm being very vulgar about it. It's not that serious, but it just pisses me off because it's a place. This is a spot and a career I'm really passionate about, and it just drives me insane seeing these people that are so success and like short-term success focused drive a lot of influence. And that's what drives me insane. They're all short-term. And my boss would always tell me, like, we're setting up for the future. But he would never do that. He was always, every time he said, we're setting up for the future, he would make me work on something that sets us up in the short term. And it just drove me insane. We wanted to make YouTube videos, but we were still pumping out shorts and Instagram reels every single day. But if we slowed that down, or if we cut that out entirely because it was useless and it made our brand look horrible, we could have focused on the videos and we could have made the videos great. And then we could have, oh man, it just drives me insane how misguided it was. Like, everything about it was so misguided. And then we had a podcast and we would talk to people, and I just listened to how misguided they were too. And everyone was just and everyone had an ego. They thought they were the shit. And it just drove me fucking crazy, man. These people are some of the biggest losers I've ever met. And they think they're the shit. They have no right to think that, because all they do is find the formula for success in the short term. And as soon as they get a click on the video, or like the 100,000 views, and they're like, oh, I made it. Oh, I'm the shit. I made that. I know how to replicate that. Here's my course. Buy my course. I could show you how to do it too. But they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. And they never did. And they never will. And when their success burns dry, like, people don't give a fuck about their transitions anymore. Their fucking stupid travel influencer transitions. Then they're gonna say, "Oh, what the fuck do I do?" Well, and then this is what kills me. You interview them. What's the first thing they say? Oh, well, I have an account, a page, my personal page. I have 300,000 followers, and moreover, I have my own creative agency, and we run a couple of advertising campaigns for a different couple companies. It's like, first of all, your advertising agency's full of fucking shit. You guys aren't making money. It's a front. It's a validator for you making your stupid fucking videos, so that you can then excuse the retarded shit you make on your personal page, your transition travel fucking stupid reels, and then tell people, well, I do that on the side, but my focus is my agency. That's what I'm really pushing. It's like, first of all, no, it's not. Your focus is making these stupid transitions so that you can get brand deals, and that's where you make your money. The agency's not doing shit for you. That's just a front to, like, for your parents, like what I do to make documentaries. It's a front. But it's different because I'm really passionate about documentaries. But it's a front so that you can fucking excuse yourself and make these stupid videos, and then you can act like you're the shit. How can you act like they're... It just fucking drives me insane, man. Like, the amount of shit they sniff out of their own ass is ridiculous. But besides that, yeah, it's, the industry's just full of those people. I don't know why it gets me so heated, because these people aren't my competition. Those people are not my competition. And if they even try to compete, they have less talent in their whole fucking being than they do in some of these smaller creators' fingertips. So, you know, these people are, they just don't belong there. They just don't belong there. And it's time someone or people kick them the fuck out because they think they're the shit. And I would love nothing more to get to the top and see them try to be nice to me, because they're all fake, and see them try to be buddy so that they can get something out of me. And I would love nothing more than to just shut them the fuck down. I don't want to give them... Oh my God, I can't wait for that to happen. Oh my God, I can't wait for that to happen. Anyways, it's crazy because I didn't even have... It wasn't me that had the connection with them. It was my boss. So he had to deal with the bullshit. But it just drove me insane too. Because I don't know... Nothing but respect to my former boss, because for him to live in that world, he's a great guy and he truly means well and he wants well, but for him to live in that world is just like such a nauseating experience. So props to him for doing it. My approach is a bit different because I'm focused on quality, not quantity, which again can be a detriment to me and may be an issue in the future. But I'm actually picking up the pace heavily, and it's just a matter of pushing myself and expecting more of myself in a day, and seeing it through, and but my approach is different because I'm kind of in my own world. Now I'm very much in my own world, and I know it's not good to do that. And maybe whoever's listening to this, if anyone even listens to these, and I don't think anyone will ever. And honestly, it'd be nice if they didn't, because I kind of like having these as my own personal event instead of, people starting to listen and then I have to watch what I say and so on and so forth. But whatever. And maybe it's like, well, you're not necessarily in your own world, because listen to the way you're analyzing the situation. Like, you're very clearly, you have a clear image, but no, I am in my own world. I have such a strong belief in myself, and I think regardless of whether you have it or not, regardless of whether it's true or not, you need to be somewhat in your own world to believe that. And that doesn't take away from the fact that it's going to happen. That doesn't take away from the fact that I'll get to where I want to be. But it's just like you kind of have to be a bit of a daydreamer to do this. So yeah, despite the fact that I'm very analytical and I pay very close attention and I have good foresight, not to toot my own horn or suck myself off, but I am in my own world, and I can't deny that. And I'm okay with that, because my sister says it a lot, my family says it a lot, like, oh my God, you're so in your own world. And that it doesn't hurt me to hear that. It doesn't insult me or scare me, because I'm okay with that. I'm actively choosing to live in my own world, because I know my own world is everything I would ever want it to be. I know my own world will become everything I want it to be and more. So I'm okay with living in it. Anyways, I've been talking for an hour. I don't know if I have much else to say about it. I don't know if I missed any marks. Kind of added 10 extra minutes to this just because I just went on a complete tangent about Instagram influencers. But But yeah, it's a wild world. Honestly, it's the Wild West. Actually, I would like to talk about this. It's the Wild West. And the reason, like I said before, I think so many creators are lazy and could be doing way more than they actually are. I think if people really lived up to their potential, I'd be far behind. I truly believe there's a million people out there way better at this than I ever will be. Or sorry, not ever will be. Can be better at this than I can. But I just think that's a matter of like shoulda, coulda, woulda. But the reality is these people aren't fulfilling their potential as creators or as people in general. And that's what's holding them back. Like I said before, the reason I'm not worried is because I know I'm doing the things necessary, a day in, day out. I'm pushing myself to see my potential through. And that's the next topic I want to talk about was, how it feels and what it means to live your potential. But I'll talk about that later. But yeah, the reason I say these people are lazy is because, oh man, I don't remember what I was gonna say. Fuck, hold on. I had it. It was on the tip of my tongue. It was a great point too. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's what will separate me. I think there's a million more people that have more talent than I do. I think there's a million people out there that can come to understand how to create better than I will. But I just don't see it. I just don't see it. When I meet people, I don't see it. When I talk to people, I don't see it. I still think, regardless of if they're capable, I don't think they have the same potential that I do, because my potential will be realized. And I can see that when I meet my peers, when I meet my competition. I just see people that aren't doing enough. And I know they're not doing enough. They're not willing to do what I am to get there. And because of that, I think is what's going to separate me. Like I said, a lot of these people are lazy. They accept burnout. And you can't accept burnout. You need to break your limit every single time you feel like you're hitting a wall. You break that limit. There is no stopping. There's no such thing as stopping. It doesn't exist in this world. And that's what people don't realize, and that's not what people are willing to accept. There's a lot of creative people out there, man. There's a lot of people that are doing amazing things, doing the bare minimum, doing the average amount of work. And I'm not willing to accept that. So the reason I know it's going to work out, the reason I know I can separate myself is because I know what I'm doing every single day. And I know that there is someone else out there doing the same thing as me. I'm not alone. I'm far from it. Part of the reason I even do these or put them online at all is because I know maybe it's not today, maybe it's not tomorrow, maybe it won't be in a couple of years, but eventually someone will listen to one of these and they'll feel like they're in the exact same position. And they won't feel like they're alone, They'll think the same, they'll feel the same, they'll be in the same position I'm in today. And it helps to hear a different voice talk about it, because I think it's not something, this is an area of life, this is a really real area of life that's not talked about enough. And I think it's just nice to hear someone else say it. And it really helps your drive to know someone else is thinking the same and supports you. And I support you. If anyone listens to this, I really, truly support you. And if you think anything like me, know you have the potential to do it. Know you have everything you need, all the tools you need to get there. Just put yourself in that position every single day to push yourself. Break your limits. Everyone will tell you sometimes you need a break, sometimes you need to relax. Never relax. Never give in. When you're all said and done, do you want to say, I wish I did more? I don't think so. So give it more effort. Come on, man. It's that extra 1%. We talked about this last time. And that will separate you. And then I'll talk about it later, but that's how you'll know it's going to work out, is when you're hitting your potential day in, day out. So Believe in yourself. It's going to work. Trust me. Trust the process. And the day that comes when things do work out, we'll celebrate together. I'll make a rant that we made it. I'll probably play like a fucking Post Malone song, congratulations or whatever. And we'll take a shot to success. Okay, so took a bit of a turn this rant. Went from YouTube to personal, but it's just all correlated. So regardless, I hope you guys are doing well, and I hope you enjoy the day in, day out process of it. And sometimes it can be tiring, sometimes it can be tough. You know, today was a tough one for me myself, but see the small steps you're taking, see the improvements, and you will be okay. All right? All right, take care.